10 epic survival mods in just 40 minutes. All the links to the mods and info on how to install them is in the description and comments. And if there's a mod you don't like, just skip to the next one. There's so much amazing stuff. 10. Craftbot Plus. So Craftbot Plus adds a total of 244 new crafting recipes. So we can now craft stuff like a master switch. And there's freaking T-pipes and cross sections. I'll get to those in a minute, but just more crafting recipes alone is just awesome for building, because there's just so much stuff you don't get in survival. And we can even craft component kits. However, one of the biggest features of the mod is the recycle bot. Now it looks like a normal... Okay, it does not look like a normal craft bot. Man, that's some nice design. And if we have a look at the recipes, I should probably add a chest to this thing. We can now recycle parts like an old scrap gas engine. And if we look in the item description, this would give us 20 scrap wood blocks, 30 scrap metal blocks, and 3 circuit boards. This is actually really useful. If you get loot from loot crates you don't actually need, you can still get resources out of it. And actually quite a lot. There's also new recipes at the trader, so farming becomes more useful as well. So instead of fighting haybots all the time, you could just farm carrots. This mod also increases stack size limits of items. So you can have up to like 25 component kits or 50 oil. And actually there's a QR code at the back of this thing. Let me try and figure this one out. Well, the quality of it is really bad. But if I just have a look at the texture file directly, it's a YouTube link, it's probably just a rickroll. Yes, it's a rickroll. Oh my god. Alright, so vacuum pipes. So I just connected 6 vacuum pumps to just one chest, and if I press this button, we can see that the mod works perfectly. That's really nice. So yeah, I really like this mod. Lots of useful features for survival, and freaking cross sections. And of course also rickrolls. 9. Expanded info. The first thing you'll see in-game, there's a lot of new GUI stuff. Like if I look at the haybot, I can see its HP, the melee damage it does. Like this is actually really useful. There's also speedometer, so you can actually see how fast you can go with your cars. And of course it also uses the metric system. So there's a compass at the top of the screen. The number in the middle shows us the angle. At the bottom right is our current position in the game. And at the bottom left you have the current tile, which is really useful if you wanna optimize your farms to trigger as little raids as possible. So when I select the paint tool, it actually shows me how much paint I have in my inventory. And how many spots we have as well. Like, that's actually really useful. Like, you don't want to run out of spots in the middle of a warehouse run. There's also counters for building blocks. If we hit a tree, we can see how many hits are left. If I refine something, I can see in seconds how much longer it's gonna take. And if I pick up the logbook, I also see a time counter. And it's not glitched, I just disabled time in the world, I guess. And apparently this world is also over a year old. And materials like stone take a little longer now, which honestly makes a lot of sense. But I think overall the refining times are a little faster now. And if I trigger a raid, I get an error message in chat. Looks like we have to do things the old-fashioned way. Lol, even the plants are yellow because of the road marks. Now I guess I'll just have to wait. Oh, it just appeared. Okay, so now there's a list with the current raids. And it even shows us what kind of bots we can expect. If we type /EC in chat, we can change some options, including changing our speed unit to MPH. Can we actually select coming soon? And /calc is gonna open up the raid calculator, which looks interesting. And by typing the corresponding command, we should be able to add like 69 bananas. And this would spawn 4 toadbots and 6 haybots on our first night. Now, how the hell do I close this thing? Same command. Nice. But I really like how the GUI of this mods really fits the scrap mechanic style. And it's really useful to have all this info if you want to be a pro scrap mechanic gamer. 8. Rager's Tools. This mod adds some really cool new tools to the game. You can't get them at the trader or the crafting bot, even though adding crafting recipes only takes like half an hour. So you need to enable death mode and do /unlimited. Potato pistol. Mini version of spot gun. Damage lower, shoot faster. I guess I'm gonna have to build something like a test range. So a normal spot gun shoots like this. I should have made the range longer. And now look at the animation, it looks really cool. Like we're slowly drawing the gun. And yep, you can see the range is actually much shorter. It's like 2/3 of it, maybe a little more. And we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was a 5th hit. I think I missed again. Okay, I'm not really good at this. I think it takes about 9 shots. Oh my god, look at the sprinting animation. It's not super deadly, but it looks so cool. Kinda makes me feel like a walk boy. get it because wogs are cows, and I'm really funny, I know. Chainsaw. If attack a character, they will take 5 gasoline, all other 1 gasoline. So basically that thing is gonna create another oil crisis. Alright, wait for it. I actually pull the thing a little bit to get it running. This kind of reminds me of the Satisfactory chainsaw. Let's see if it's just as devastating. Well, okay, it's a lot faster than doing this by hand. Or by hammer. Oh my, like imagine this would be in vanilla survival. I think like this is so much more epic. And I think this even works on stones for some really weird reason. It's a saw. All right, let's see how this does against the haybot. 1 hit, 2 hits. So it's 6 hits to kill a haybot, and the hammer takes only 5 hits. Oh my god, it can also destroy... why is it burning? Okay, gotta admit, this is kinda useful, but we can't go through straight metal, or can we? That's probably just low durability blocks. A tape gun. They can shoot tape and explosive tape? It actually zooms in a little. That's cool. And the animation again is really epic, except that my arm feels like it's 1 meter long. Oh god, this looks so cool. And yep, we're shooting tape. What's the fire rate of this thing? Okay, it's pretty slow, and we can kill a haybot in 1 hit. That's a powerful boy. And I like this little piece of cotton at the back for the knockback of the gun. Like the detail and animations are absolutely amazing. Climber tools. With this tool you can climb on everything. Almost. This looks complicated and fun, and also uses chemicals. I can punch with those thingies? Let's brawl a haybot to death. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think this doesn't actually deal any damage. Wait, I actually killed it. It took only like 20 hits or so. And it can destroy cardboard as well. Good thing I have this wall. How do I climb? What the hell am I doing? What is coming out of my tool? I can dash. Ooh, how am I doing it? Okay, I punch it, then the goo comes out, and then I can dash. Whoa! I don't really know what I'm doing. Jetpack. It's not a tool, but very helpful for building huge buildings. I mean, a jetpack should be really straightforward. Oh my god, this looks so cool. Oh my god. Like, I just wish those things were normal survival. Dude, does it work underwater? I mean, that just seems legit. I think you can abuse this one to completely negate any fall damage. Yeah, it just stops you immediately. Jetpack status always on. So now I can... Oh my god, now I can actually use other tools while I'm flying. That way we could also shoot spot guns underwater. Looks a little stupid, not gonna lie. I'm just T-posing. Blink. With this tool you can teleport on all places in range. That sounds great. Ooh. So I just aim at something and then I press right mouse button. It's like when you play a VR game and you just use teleportation mode. Now I really want Scrap Mechanic VR, to be honest. Radio explosive. You can explode them on long distance. So just like press a button and... I place it like a block. So you place the bomb and then you press R to reload and it just goes boom. That's so cool. Like for Farmbot defense or something. Oh, you can only place it on blocks you've built. Well, not if you force build it. And then there's a tools controller, which looks really advanced. Okay, I think this is work in progress or something. At least I'm not gonna bother trying to figure that stuff out. But yeah, these tools are really amazing. I really wish they were in vanilla Scrap Mechanic. 7. True hardcore survival. To install this mod, we need to download a zip file from GitHub. It's just really inconvenient, to be honest. This mod is definitely gonna give you a challenge. Crops take longer to grow and they also drop less seeds. And a raid will always be triggered, even just by a single tomato plant. And speaking of raids, the bots are gonna spawn closer, there's gonna be more bots, and it's basically just pain. Bots are now much tougher, and they drop new things. So haybots actually drop scrap metal now, which offsets the reduced gain of scrap metal. Toadbots attack much more frequently now, and have more range and stuff, and honestly, I don't know why anyone would like to suffer even more. Speaking of that, they can also destroy more blocks. But to be fair, they significantly nerf tape bots. So I guess it ain't too bad. Haybots can also now drop new items such as glue. It just dropped a bearing. The crafting recipes are also a lot more expensive now. I mean, not a lot. Now you need glue for wood blocks and stuff. And gasoline needs corn. And you can craft Sunshake! That's actually a really useful recipe, though they did not touch the cookbot. The loot from loot crates also has been altered with. The exact changes are in this document. Cows now need to eat 10 pieces of corn for 1 milk. I mean, to be fair, 3 pieces of corn is pretty overpowered in vanilla anyway. And if we fly over to the trader with my definitely not cheated vehicle, we can see a lot of new recipes, which at least make farming more useful, which is like so much more difficult right now. And you can also obtain creative engines, which are like ridiculously overpriced, but they do not require fuel, which is like really awesome for the thruster. I don't think anyone legit farmed 150 broccoli crates. While refining by hand gives less resources now, you still get 15 per piece if you insert it into the refiner, which actually makes it kinda more useful. And they made the Sunshake stronger. And if I were to generate a new world, these markets would not be built out of scrap wood, but instead out of insulation blocks, which is a little weird. Having so much scrap wood at once is also kinda overpowered. Our sledgehammer deals more damage now, and we can actually block now with a hammer, which reduces damage by 75%. And since there's no cooldown to blocking, we are pretty much overpowered now. I guess this is one of the reasons why they didn't put it in survival. But I really like some of these changes, like blocking and stuff. Makes the game feel more balanced, but also more difficult with the harder rates and stuff. But if you start a new run on this, you'll definitely have a new scrap mechanic experience. 6.5 CJ player character. You see it's already working in the loading screen. It's a tall boy. Let's join my scrap mechanic server and see if it works in multiplayer. I haven't tested this before, so... Alright, like there's animations for everything. Look at that guy behind all the Amogus stuff. It's like GTA and scrap mechanic. Dude, I want to see more people. Now, of course, all of this also works in survival. Oh, that guy even has my Sunshake ad. Oh, that's part of the map now. Why is there an Amogus sign? Anyway, if you want to see more server content, I've got videos on that as well. Let's drive like a car or something. Oh, this looks great. I would just like some light, please, you know. What the did you just... I'm actually doing like a roll if I sneak. That is cool. What is the underwater animation like? Yep, that's fairly basic. And yeah, the classical GTA jump. Anyway, this is mostly just cosmetics, but I thought it's pretty cool and funny in multiplayer. 6 radio mods. Now I'm just using the Soviet Anthem mod because I'm pretty sure that doesn't have copyright. But there's loads of other radio mods out there, including a Rickroll, of course. Now, these mods aren't a huge game changer, but they're quite some fun. And they add a nice touch to the game if you're exploring or just chilling out in your base or so. Like, just appreciate the sound when we suddenly move the car underwater. I just realized the audio engine doesn't handle that. Oh, now it handles it. And these mods also work in multiplayer. So you can... I think the radio mod just died. But you basically should be able to listen to your favorite tunes in multiplayer as well. 5. Lucky Block mod. Installing this mod is super easy. Just make a new creative world and select the mod. Then place down the Lucky Block. Press U to tinker on it. And I don't think the GUI is optimized for my 4K monitor. If you press on it, you can just click install and it's installed. If you want to uninstall it, uninstalled. Then you can join any survival world and go to the nearest Craftbot. And there's a crafting recipe. Let's see if I'm lucky today. Just interact with it and my game did not crash. There was just a massive explosion. I don't think I would have survived that if I weren't on God mode. So, you know, just be careful with the blocks. And we are getting tomatoes. I mean, I guess it's good. And this time, oh my god, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, that would be really useful in survival. I mean, just the component kits alone. It's raining worms. Those poor fellas. Now, I'm a nice guy. I'm just gonna drop them back into the lake. Although, if you watch my glow bug video, you can figure out if they actually need water to survive. Because I think I kind of just exploded all the cardboard in the area. And oh my god, 3 explosive tape pots. That would have one-hitted me. I think you would need like a tank in survival to open them safely. That's just some blocks. I mean, that's useful, I guess. More blocks. Oh my god, it just teleported me. Ooh, a survival baguette. Anti-gravity. What the hell? Does the event stop? Oh god. I think everything just went towards the sky. Oh my god. What's happening? My screen just turned black. Structure pixel place blacked out. That was so random. And black out again. You know, kind of annoying if I want to record a video. Oh, those are like level 5 driver's seats. Those are really useful. Are you just kidding me? This is the 4th time. Yep, I'm so far away from the trader now. It's raining bots, and it wasn't this hill thing, so they just keep ragdolling all the time. But yeah, I think you kind of get a feeling for what those lucky blocks can offer. It definitely can add some new fun to survival. 4. The Raft Mod. Keep in mind this is still in development, and it will break any of your existing worlds, so be really careful to only play in a world for this mod. Team Mustache? They changed the logo screen! So when we install the mod and join a new world, we'll be greeted by being dumped right into the ocean. Like, our entire world just turned into a giant ocean with a few islands in between. So that's quite a new challenge, cause, well, I never was good at building carts anyway. Okay, how do I get on an island? Because the water just ends right here, and that's so stupid. Good thing we have the lift. Now I'm just trying to get some wood to build a little boat. That just took like freaking forever. And it wasn't even enough wood. This doesn't look like anything that should swim. But because of how physics work in this game, it's gonna. At least I hope so. Alright, I got some kind of crappy boat. Now let's see if it can actually swim. And it actually looks like it's swimming. It swims like garbage. But I like how this mod gives you new challenges. Oh yeah, boat physics. Oh god. So I'm definitely not gonna cheat here. So if we have a look around the world now, it's basically just water. And there's a mechanic station. So I think that would be your first goal if you're actually trying to survive here. And then you could maybe try and get a little farm going or something. And then you grind all the resources for a Craftbot, which actually has some new recipes now. So we can now craft amber from chemicals and wood. You can craft component kits, like glue and oil you can get from the sea, and you can even craft circuit boards from bubble plastic, which you can also get from the ocean. If you want a new and unique challenge for scrap mechanic, this mod is definitely worth a try. Like, just think of a mobile water base. 3. Smooth survival experience. And even though it says it's just for 0.4.8, it also works on 0.5.0, whatever the latest version is. This mod makes survival a lot less grindy. So block recipes in the Craftbot do give a lot more blocks now, so you basically get double the fun now. Did I also mention you can craft stuff faster now, if I actually had the resources? Like, this only takes 46 seconds now? I don't know what the default time is, but I just know it takes freaking forever. Additionally, we can also craft circuit boards and component kits. We can now refine twice as fast, which still feels like a long-ass time. Like, I don't even want to imagine what it's like if it's twice as long. Some block stats should also be changed, but I didn't memorize those stats, so I'm not exactly sure what changed. Burn trees now take less hits, so only 1, 2, and do they actually take more than 2 hits in vanilla? And also resources like amber drop a lot more of. Like, you would never get 11 amber from 1 tree in vanilla. And eating food should also now give us more stats back. Kinda, I don't think a carrot heals that much on vanilla. Oh, and additionally, we also lose less food and water. And we have super lungs now, which last quite a while actually. But in general, we get more resources from oil, like 15 at once. And yes, even clams. Did I mention that I hate clam diving? Flowers and loot crates still drop pretty much the same amount of loot, I think. Although 4 components kits is really good. And if we kill a bot, we should also get more loot. Like, yeah, 4 circuit boards is more than they normally drop. I wonder if this also applies to woks. No, they still drop just 1 steak. But beehives also give more loot. So overall, just less farming and grinding and more actual building. 2. Duck character mod. If you want to get this working in survival, you'll need to follow this tutorial or watch this video. You also need to edit files for creative, because I can't really read. Once everything is installed, we should see these lovely duck capsules or duck package. In survival mode, we should find the ducks near woks. Well, as I said, they spawn near woks. And they have this cute little walk animation. And no, I cannot actually eat the duck, it's just my burger. Now, this is really interesting. If I select corn in my hotbar, the duck will follow me, because apparently ducks eat corn. Can ducks eat corn? Oh, so it looks like ducks really like corn. And just like woks, we can feed them with corn as well. And apparently that makes them drop cotton. Like, don't ask me how it works. It's free cotton, I guess. And if you don't feed them for 30 days, they will die. Pretty much just like glow bugs. And I still don't really get why they drop cotton. And we can also paint ducks. However, painted ducks won't fight each other. So it's just for cosmetics, but I still think it's really cool. Like they really fit the lore of scrap mechanic. And interestingly, bots don't seem to attack them. They're just peacefully chilling right next to them. But as mechanics, we can of course kill them ourselves. And they're really slow at running away. Now they drop wok meat? They just explode like woks for some reason. Well, anyways, still a cool mod to add variety to the game. 1. Survival Legend mod. To install the mod, we need to run the setup from the mod folder. The team that made the mod is from China, so some stuff looks different. While being sketchy, this is really straightforward. Also, don't worry if you're stuck at a non-responsive scrap mechanic for 5 minutes. This mod is gonna be worth it. That like legit took 10 minutes. So if I just open up the Craftbot, you can see a plethora of new items. There's so many, oh my god. Let's start with blocks. The super light block is pretty much just like bubble plastic. And if I put just one block on the lift, it goes up like a rocket. Oh god, are the scrap mechanic water physics broken. And the super and ultra heavy block. There's a 60 by 16 plane of medium blocks. I place down one ultra heavy block, just one, and the entire thing comes down. And we've got some pure glass, like it's really clean. Right next to it is a mirror block, and yeah, you can see the amazing scrap mechanic reflection quality. A luminous block that is as bright as Discord's light theme, acrylic and tile brick blocks, red bricks, which have a really cool texture, smooth bricks and rock bricks, anti-skid steel plate, 4 new variations of wood blocks, marble block for the rich of you, the grass block, which as you can see has pretty much just the same texture, the ice block, which has a really cool texture. Like, this looks so realistic. And of course, this is super slippery, and those things still keep jumping out of the water. And lastly, there's a fancy new carpet block. Quite the red carpet too. But this is nothing compared to all the new interactives we get. There's a handful of new driving seats. Seriously? This is weird. Did I also mention that all parts are available in creative as well? They also compressed seats into a block, even invisible seat blocks. And they have different animations depending on the type of block. Like this one makes me completely invisible. How awesome is this? I'm still invisible. What the hell? I just left the seat. Oh my god. Is this normal? Lastly, we also get new beds, although I think they're mostly done for creative. Of course, there's also new crafting recipes at the trader, and probably for the more interesting stuff. Next up, we have a ridiculous amount of reskinned buttons and switches. Like, it takes me freaking forever just to cover all of them. But the amount of detail you can add to your builds with these switches is just incredible. Like, especially for casted stuff, you have so many more options now. They're gonna look really amazing. Then we have 2 controller reskins, a mini bearing, and an invisible bearing. There's also bearings with brake discs, which I think are designed for the new wheels. We'll get to them later. There's 2 types of speedometers, which you need to connect to a seat or switch. And now I was real lazy, so my car doesn't have steering, but we reached 69 km/h. Now there's also a ridiculous amount of new suspensions. Just normal ones, but longer. Airbag suspensions, which get bigger. It's actually pretty cool. And these kinds of suspensions, a lot more pistons. This is a normal level 5 piston that really struggles with all of these ultra heavy blocks. But the modded pistons are 10 times more powerful. So if I use a modded piston, I can lift these blocks. We also have much longer pistons. This is gonna extend for quite a while. Like, it's 150 blocks, I think. So that reaches quite far. There's also these tube pistons, which are mostly just for aesthetics. And here's a pipe piston with a power of 0, which is supposed to be used for slide rail. Next up, we have seat logic. So we have WASD converters, a seat logic block, and we can actually not detect mouse presses. There's also inverters and concentrators, but they sound kind of complicated. We also have paintable logic gates, timers, and 1x1 timers now. Would have saved like 7,000 headlights for the Donkey Kong arcade. There's also sliced controllers and a solid controller block. Then we also have a variety of new engines. So I think these are just more powerful engines. I'm not really an engine expert, to be honest. But they make really cool sounds that are also quite loud. I think the super high horsepower engine is a lot more interesting. I think this is supposed to be for like huge weights, stuff like turning super heavy weight blocks. Then we also have 1x1 gas and electric engines. Now there's also a huge amount of thrusters, and yeah, this one doesn't have a flame. but the other ones do. And there's so many of them. Also really big thrusters. Makes the flame look kind of small. Here's even more thrusters. Those are sci-fi thrusters. These are rocket thrusters. I think some of them are stronger than vanilla. I don't know. I'm not gonna test them all. That would take forever. Next, we have some special blocks. And you might think there is no block, but there's actually a block that we can turn on and off. So it's still gonna keep its collision. Then there's a dark lamp block and a not dark lamp block. Also pretty awesome. Speaking of lights, there's a plethora of new lights. Some are really epic, like this warning siren and the traffic lights, and also this searchlight. Like, man, these lights are bright. Oh yeah, I forgot I have no steering on this car. These lights are really cool. This is an infrared ray, and as far as I know, we're not supposed to see infrared, and it also straight goes through blocks. It's actually useful for building stuff or so, I don't know. And there's also laser, which is pretty much smaller. And this is a small sensor, which is just like a regular sensor. But now we're getting to the really fun stuff. Like, there's so many weapons. So we have a gun handle, which is just like a regular button, and a muzzle, which is also like a regular spot gun, but it has this really cool muzzle flash. And it also needs potatoes. And then there's the minigun. And yeah, this does not look wrong at all. If I now do this, yep, it shoots really freaking fast. And we're probably gonna run out of potatoes really fast. There's just one stack of cardboard, and if I press the button, next up there's a bunch of cannons, which, yeah, shoot very huge explosives. Even tank cannons. It's pretty epic. Now I'm just shooting at this Farmbot over here. And he ran away, so I think he survived one explosion. Yeah, there's even more weapons and stuff. It's actually really epic if you're into tank sort of battles. What the hell is this weapon? This is just an air cannon? Wait, so if I just put the force to maximum and I sit right in front of the barrel, this sounds like a really stupid idea. Whoa, this is actually really fun. Anyway, there's also humongous cannons. Like, some of them are just ridiculously huge. And then there's these thingies. And, like, the one thing is a rocket launcher, which is also pretty cool. And the other thing has an arch projectile, and I just shot it straight into the air, so of course it just came down. I'm really a genius. What the hell just exploded? Maybe having so many weapons here at once is kinda dangerous. Here's a laser gun that looks really cool. And this is a laser cannon, which, yes, it does do explosions. It's not really working. I don't know, I'm sure it does something. Next, we have a bunch of rockets and explosives. But I'm starting with this water gun, which, just sprays in water effect. This is a smoke grenade, and if I hit it with my spot gun, my FPS dropped dramatically. But it also generates smoke for a minute, so I guess I'll just have to wait it out. Then we have a regular grenade, which has this, did I mention that all my other rockets were also explosives? Anyway, so I think it's clear there's a lot of explosives. There's also landmines and sea mines. And we can put a guidance module and a thruster at a rocket. Current target Dr. Pixel plays. Yeah, I don't really understand how this works. Here we have a bomb spawner, and we can choose which bomb it spawns. And this is an ultra range sensor, so it has really long range. And stacking landmines is not a good idea. And here we have a tiny gyroscope, which we can activate with a switch, and then it's gonna give us WASD signals, which is pretty cool and compact. So with the gearbox, we can control the power of an engine. So if I press the white switch now, I can make it go faster, and the black switch is gonna make it slower. It's actually like really useful, considering you can't do this in vanilla. The splitter will, if I activate it, it will disappear and drop the object it's attached to, and luckily the grenade didn't explode. The paint gun just paints whatever is in front of it, so that's actually pretty useful. It also paints multiple blocks at once, because that's how the scrap mechanic block physics work. And the painting module can even paint all parts of an object, so that's like incredibly useful for mass painting stuff. Here's an ID checker, and if I press the button, it's gonna show me all players in my world. So it just shows that I'm all alone. Now, the effect generators require you to make particle quality at high. And once I apply this, I should be able to see particles. It works. What the hell is this? This looks so weird. Okay, this is smoke. This is actually really cool. There's bubbles. I think they use this for the chemicals. Oh, we can even spawn butterflies. Oh my god. If I activate the GPS, it shows me the coordinates, and if I set the active height to something below the current height, it will also output a logic signal. The gravity module can be turned on and off to change the gravity. 0, and now it should be negative. Okay, this is not really doing anything. Oh, it's working, it's working. It's weirdly stopping at one point. Yeah, it's kind of working. And there's also fly module, which is pretty epic. Okay, I think the time controller is for creative, but there's also camera module, and if I press 1 on the seat, it's gonna change my view to that of the camera, which is pretty straightforward. Next up, there's these transmitters, which are supposed to send me 100 blocks away. Oh my god, they like actually seem to work. How do I get back? Now this one should send me 1,000 blocks away. That's actually pretty cool. There's also ruler. 4 blocks equal 1 meter, and that's actually pretty useful. Where does it end? 500. There's also a tiny 1x1 beacon, although it looks more like it takes up 2 blocks. And there's also a huge beacon for some reason. That is a huge beacon. Oh, I can't change the color of the beam, or can I? That's legit epic. It's basically like a Minecraft beacon. Now, there's some logos from the team, and I can actually change the size of these logos. How is that even possible? It's so weird and also really cool. They also have this about thing, and if I press F on it, nothing happens except annoying sounds, and it also has a QR code. And if I'm lucky, this isn't gonna be my second rickroll in one video. Does this link look sus? Well, at least it's not a rickroll. Then there's this map monitor, which is from challenge mode, and yep, basically just gives us a nice overview of a survival map. And there's also this challenge chest, which is pretty much just like a regular chest. Very spectacular. There's also world cleaner, and if I press F, I've just deleted everything. Even stuff that's supposed to be in survival, like the freaking trader. Just a little hint. Don't use this in survival. Next, we have a bunch of furniture, and I hope that, yep, those animations are working, and that chair looks really comfy. You know, there's a blanket for a reason. Like, our mechanic never uses it. Then we have speakers, which are just reskinned Toadbot heads with broken GUI for some reason. I mean, it's functional. Then we have this gaming keyboard, which also acts as a switch and can turn off this monitor, which, of course, is playing Scrap Mechanic. And yet another computer that reminds me that I can't afford a new graphics card. And we also have this like iPad display, which shows some Chinese Google Maps, I think. And this big monitor, which I think those are Chinese news. I don't really know. Damn, the detail on this computer. Like, you can see the RAM, the water cooling. Then we also have a turntable, which also acts as a switch and now connects to this firework, which is just a regular Toadbot. Then there's the shower, which is probably the first one our mechanic ever has received. Like, seriously, when does he... Oh my god, there's a freaking firework at the sky. I was wondering why this is just a Toadbot head. How do I turn it off? Oh, you just turn it on and off. Wow. There's also a regular candle, and a water tap, which is also pretty cool. This mod in general is really cool. Then there's also some character blocks. We can change the color of those. They're not really convenient, but they exist. Then we have more logos with, of course, adjustable size. Yeah, I don't really know what those logos mean. An adjustable flag of China thing. And, of course, 2 other flags of China. Did I mention the team behind this mod is Chinese? There's also shuttered windows, which you can turn on and off with actually a cool animation. And then there's weird water blocks, which are supposed to simulate buoyancy. Pretty sure this was pre-update for creative. Then we have interactive wheels, like the sci-fi wheel, which apparently can power itself. Like, I just connected the wheel to an engine or bearing. And there's these mountain bike wheels, and you can just change the inner stuff of the wheel. I forgot the name, to be honest. It looks really cool, though, the animation. These wipers, and of course, we can adjust the size of those as well. And then there's a broken horn, which we might be able to activate with a switch, though. Yes, that works at least. Then we have a lot of exhaust pipes that can emit smoke and flames. And yeah, I don't think I need to trigger all of them. Of course I do. Like, that's why you're here, right? Now, there also seem to be a lot of new wing parts, but I have no idea on how to build wings or build any planes in Scrap Mechanic before. And there's a warning, like, never using excessive thrust. So just know that wings are a thing in this mod. Okay, and there's also propellers. God, that's so huge. How can I get it spinning? You can see, it works. Okay, that's actually kind of loud. Why are the particles so way off? All right, so planes are a thing. There's also a parachute. Sorta seems to work. And lastly, there's a bunch of luminous wedges, and here's just a selection of them. There's quite a few of them. So those have been all the interactives. Only be recording this for like 2 hours. Now there's also a bunch of new parts. So yeah, of course there's wedges and all new forms and shapes and stuff, like a whole lot of them. There's also these anti-arcs and 1/8 of a ball. It's basically a shape for every situation. And then there's a lot of these things also out of glass. There's also some slices, which kind of look like this. Oh my goodness, there's so much stuff. It's also like glass frames and stuff. Like the building possibilities for all of this stuff are just incredible. Some 2-dimensional tubes. So those are like really weirdly shaped. Super fine tubes. It's really hard building with them because they're so fine. Blocks with ball collision. So this looks like a regular block, but actually it's a ball. So I should be able to just roll it. Yep. That looks so weird, man. I'm no cars expert, but there's supercar wheels, sport car wheels, BBS wheels, and Rolls-Royce wheels, modified wheels. So there's some like off-road wheels. There's some really interesting texture to them. This is a buggy wheel, and then this is a huge wheel, which is pretty big, to be honest. This one's like bike wheels, and this mini wheel, which is just literally 1 by 1. And this one should be a tractor wheel, I think. There's like bus wheels for like front and rear, and it's just wheels for everything, man. Here's load wheels and those gear wheels for tanks. Then we have a selection of train wheels. And lastly, wood wheels and carriage wheels. But there's also like decoration for wheels. Like, this is just crazy. You can just spend so much time just designing the perfect wheel. If you fancy that. You can put like screws on your wheel as well. Like, this is ridiculous. Then there's a few intake grills, some drive axles to make your car look more realistic, and of course actual wheel eyebrows, mirrors for all your cars, license plates, well, and an antenna. There's also some sight for weapons, an anchor, and this is literally called bearing decoration, actual chains, more sights for your weapon systems. There's so much stuff, I literally need a world cleaner. And then there's so many decorative items, it literally feels like playing Sims. Like this nice stove with this exhaust thing, a coffee machine, a juicer, a microphone, a pan, a plate. There's like literally a freaking turkey with wine and a wine glass. There's some tools as well, an actual dice you could roll, books, stuff to put on your walls, like actual pictures and stuff. There's plants you can place down, flowers, these bushes and trees, and also some rocks. It's like tiles you can use to build a nice looking roof. And there's like these huge and long track pieces. Like they're probably for building trains and stuff. And last but not least, we have these huge architectural block thingies, like these spheres and more of those anti-arcs, which help with building and stuff. But like, yeah, I'm pretty mind blown by this mod. There's just so much cool stuff it adds. You'll not be able to access all of it in survival though, but actually quite a lot, as you can see in the Craftbot. Like you can craft a computer in Scrap Mechanic Survival. And of course everything's available in creative as well. Like this is just a great alternative to the mod pack. Again, info on how to install survival mods is in the comments, as well as links to all the mods I've showcased. So definitely check those out if you want to play with these mods yourself. Well, and have fun playing with mods.